Joining us now to talk more about the legal implications and the practical ones of these dual rulings. Shan, I mean, a lot of things stick out to me, and there's so many questions to be made. But first off, I mean, you have this judge in Texas reaching, what, 20 years to an FDA disapproval that was made. And during that time, it has been shown, as we heard from Elizabeth Cohen, that this drug has been safe and effective. So what reasoning is he giving as to why it was ruled that the FDA improperly approved this drug, Mifepristone? Mifepristone, Shan.
I'm going to avoid pronouncing that.
Yeah, I'm going to avoid that word.
Basically, he really substituted his judgment for the FDA. And not only did he substitute his judgment for their scientific expertise, he did it in a legal posture, which is particularly ridiculous. I mean, he is ruling in a preliminary injunction. It's a very high bar to get the injunction. He needs to find that there is irreparable harm, as well as a likelihood of success on the merits. And when you look at this drug that has been safely used for 20 plus years, it's very hard to understand how there can be any immediate irreparable harm. I mean, all this time has already passed. Then as to the merits issue, his opinion is just very, very weak. I mean, he is substituting his judgment. He feels the FDA didn't take into account psychological harm to women after they've had a medically induced abortion, obviously ignoring the psychological harm of women being denied access to health care. And most troubling of all to me, as a lawyer looking at it, is he reaches back to the 19th century to pull out a law which has been completely dormant, the Comstock Act, which was meant to address vile, obscene, lewd criminal behavior. I mean, it reads like something out of the Dickens era. And he uses that, saying that that law is still on the books, and therefore it could prohibit the mailing of any drugs that could be used for abortion, even though the Justice Department specifically issued a memorandum after Dobbs saying that that law would not stop the mailing of this particular drug.
Hey, Shan, I want you to listen to something that Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez suggests, and then I want your thoughts.
I believe that the Biden administration should ignore this ruling. I think that the courts have the legitimacy and they rely on the legitimacy of their rulings. And what they are currently doing is engaged in an unprecedented and dramatic erosion of the legitimacy of the courts.
Do we want to live in a world where a government can decide to ignore a federal court ruling?
Well, no, of course. I mean, I do think that it raises these important questions.
Is that possible, that the administration could say, thank you, judicial system, we heard you, and then ignore it?
It is possible. There could be perhaps an executive order, and if they ignored it, they would trigger a process by which they'd probably be back before that judge, perhaps looking at the contempt order, and then that would be litigated. Ultimately, they're going to have to litigate it one way or the other. I find it highly unlikely that someone of Merrick Garland's temperament would just want to ignore that decision, even though it's a very poorly reasoned decision. And I think they've already begun to appeal it. The fact that there are these dueling decisions where the Washington state judge wanted to protect the access indicates it's probably going to be fast-tracked to the Supreme Court. And obviously a concern there is the Supreme Court increasingly shows less deference to agencies than before. One sort of historical footnote I'd add is that Justice Alito relied on a very old disgraced jurist, Matthew Hale, who was a witch hunter, basically, in his opinion, overruling Roe versus Wade. And it kind of reminds me of this Texas judge reaching back to this dusty old law to try and use it now to prohibit women from getting access to health care.
Well, look, we know that there's going to be a lot of uncertainty, right, as all of this plays out legally. So we'll watch that closely with you, Shan Wu. Thank you very much.